What's up guys, welcome back. Wet palettes are great and everything, but they don't stay wet forever. You can get quite a lot of mileage out of them, but sometimes when you're painting, life has other ideas and you end up getting called away. Then before you know what's happening, you're having to fly to France and use your very particular set of skills
I've acquired over a very long career
to rescue your daughter from Albanian people traffickers, leaving a mountain of bodies in your wake, somehow facing no legal repercussions for any of it. We've all been there. The main issue with this is that when you finally get back, the paper's so dry that Stephen Wright could use it in one of his stand-up sets.
It's my birthday recently. For my birthday, I got a humidifier and a dehumidifier. Put them in the same room, let them fight it out.
This isn't a major problem if you are using pre-mixed colours, but if you're mixing your own, it can be a bit of a headache. However, don't panic. All you need is two things. Firstly, to keep your mixes simple, don't go mental with loads of different colours. And secondly, don't throw the paper away, hold on to it. What you're going to do is set the paper beside a fresh wet palette, then load up all the colours you were using before all that unfortunate business with the Albanians. Now you're essentially going to remix your colours using the old palette paper as a reference. We'll start off here with the darkest one. For that I have mixed a bit of bright blue into some black. When I'm doing this, I'm comparing the mix to the colour on the dry paper and trying to get it fairly close. Paint a little swatch next to the colour you're trying to create and see if they match. I can tell that this is still way too dark, so I'll just add a bit more of the blue into the mix. When you're doing this, it's important to bear in mind that your wet paint will look slightly different when it dries. So when you think you're in the right ballpark, paint a small amount directly on top of the colour that you're trying to match. Then just dry it with a hairdryer. You'll be able to immediately tell whether you need to make the colour darker or lighter, and you can easily do that by adding more of your black or more of your blue. If the paint seems to disappear into the colour, then you have an exact match, which is the case here. This is the benefit of using simple mixes because you can get back to that colour you were using very easily. For the next colour, I took some of that dark blue and mixed in a bit of bright turquoise to lighten it. Now I can tell this is still a bit too dark, but we'll test it anyway against the reference. First painting a little swatch on top, then drying it off with a hairdryer. You can see the colour gets a bit lighter as it dries, but it's still way too dark for what we are aiming for. So all we'll do is add a bit more of the turquoise. Obviously when you're doing this you can adapt it to whatever colours that you're using, but the principle is going to be the same regardless of the paints that you use. There you can see it's still way too dark, so we'll just add a bit more of the turquoise to lighten it. And we'll retest that with a little swatch. We're a bit closer now, but the colour is still a bit on the dark side, so we'll add a little more turquoise. Make sure when you're doing this that you get the paint nicely mixed together. You don't want random streaks of colour running through the paint, so don't be scared to give it a good stir. Quick check against the reference, and it looks like we're almost there. Just a little bit more turquoise should about do it. And another quick check, and yep. There you go, that's about perfect. So you can see it's pretty easy to get back to your original mixes as long as you use pretty simple colours. We'll do one more. Now this one's a little bit trickier because it's actually dried as a glaze on the paper. So it's a little bit harder to work out because you have quite a lot of the paper showing through under the paint. But the idea is basically the same. I'll take some of that turquoise we just mixed and lighten it with an off-white. And remember, the goal of this is to try and get back to the colour on the reference. Now because this originally dried as a glaze, all we'll do is add a bit of water to the paint, thinning it down to a glaze consistency. And then we're going to add a bit of that next to the reference and then just compare the two once we've dried it. And I'd say that's probably going to be close enough. And now I have all the colours I need to get back to painting this Kingdom Death model. Alright guys, so subscribe, like and comment below and I'll see you all in the next video.
But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.